Welcome back to NewsMakers. Red tape throttling the nation. Alan.
Well, wherever you go, it's expensive to get anything started, and whatever you propose, the objectives come up first, and your task becomes not to sell your version or your alternative, but to overcome the objection. And it's just ridiculously expensive to get anything new done. Even if it's not a historical building, which we've had experience with. But we seem to be unable to be presented, the media seem to be unable to look at anything and say, here's a suggestion, these are the alternatives, let's evaluate the situation. We come up with a suggestion, these are the negatives. Well, there's yin and yang in everything. Every good news has bad news, and we concentrate on the bad news, and then we end up with high court action and all sorts of incredible costs to take a step forward.
Yeah, but even on a domestic level, though, too, we're just doing some renovations at home at the moment, and we knew that there were going to be consents required, you know, on that sort of level, which was fine, and we were given a ballpark figure for that from the person who was doing the design for us, and that is indeed what he was charged when he put the drawings in. And then when he went to uplift the consents, they charged another $600 plus GST.
Why?
Because it was more involved than they thought. And I think that's the key. You know, if you don't pay your $600, you're not going to get your consents. So they charge you this, you go to pick it up, and then they charge you, you know, another 50% again. And this, it's actually more expensive now for us to do what we want to do than it would have been if we'd done it 3 years ago. And my understanding was, and I think Jim Anderton may have been one of the people behind this, wanted to make it easier for people to do DIY stuff at home or to do renovations at home by lowering the costs for compliances and for consents as well. Well, that doesn't seem to have been the case.
Felicity, you'd have some nightmare stories.
Well, at bigger end, we haven't done any home renovations lately, but you know, all across the country, and particularly when the heritage buildings are involved. It is an absolute nightmare to try and do anything, and I think they sort of assume that, you know, it's the worst case scenario that you're going to rip things down, but people usually want to do things quite sensitively. It's just that, you know, people like the Historic Places Trust come along and say, but you can't do anything at all. In other words, you know, the building has to fall down and never be used because they want to preserve it as it is, rather than as a living, breathing building. But it takes forever, and it just really stymies development in this town.
I mean, I had a deck put onto a house, and they charged us to do another map of the plan to show where the fire detectors were inside the house. What's that got to do with the deck? Nothing.
It
so
also
how do we
depends
fix
when you
it?
get there too, because you know, at the council, because we had a similar situation, and in fact I think I remember the guy said to me, you'll need to put your smoke detectors on there, where are they going? And I said there and there, and he went, okay, fine, and off he went. So I think it does depend who you get and who's signing off.
How do we fix it though, team?
Well, I think the successive governments have said that they're going to make it easier, and you know, like you're saying, Jim Anderton, the last government didn't. I don't know if this one has or will. I don't think they have yet. But there was an example on the radio this morning, wasn't there, about the cows down south, and whatever you might think about the project itself. It is what they do overseas, apparently. It's the standard.
It's being done in New Zealand already, actually. And
it's apparently a lot more environmentally secure because they treat the waste than having the cows just chuck it all over the pastures and leave nitrates in the ground. But these guys have already spent several million and are now being told that if they want to do it, they're going to have to spend several more. And you know, who can blame them? It's money down the drain.
The stupid thing is too, in a lot of these cases, I understand that you have to spend all that money and still have no guarantee of a positive outcome. So, and I think on a domestic level as well too, you can, for example, put a garage on, pay your application to do so, which might be $1,000, and then they come back and say, sorry, but you know, we'll take your money. Which seems mad. And who's going to pay $3 million on the off chance that they might get
Well, it's more than that, actually, because they've already paid a whole lot.
Yeah, right, exactly.
$3 million more.
$3 million
So, yeah, I mean, basically, is it just keeping bureaucrats paid?
I haven't been able to work it out, but it discourages innovation. So we want to keep up with Australia, and we're talking about catching up with them in the end. We'll catch up by being innovative, by working together. Someone's just won a court case for what I think was vagrant damage to property for the better good. Well, let's us start doing things for the better good of the community. If that is how we, let's turn this sad court case around and say, let's all work for the better good, for the better good of our image of 100% pure thing. We will move prostitutes out of the city. We will close down massage parlours for the better good. Let's start doing that.
Just very quickly, I just want to say quickly to the 198 Youth Health Centre that's closing too. Talk about better good. I just think that's one of the most crazy decisions, and I really feel for Sue Bagshaw and her crew there. I think it's appalling.
Panel, thank you very much indeed. Felicity Price with her new book.
You hold it up.
Head Over Heels. Ellie Jones, who's PRing again, which is really, really great. And of course, Alan Slade, who is one of our leading restaurateurs. That was NewsMakers this week.